Breath of the Wild is probably one of the strangest Zelda titles there is. I mean, Majora's Mask had its own slew of oddities, but due to Breath of the Wild seemingly being a hodgepodge of all the previous timelines, it really does stick out from the rest. By now, most of you have probably watched the announcement trailer for Breath of the Wild sequel that was shown at E3. Beyond that, I'm sure you've already tuned in to watch some theories on YouTube covering all aspects of the lore, from talented creators such as Zeltic, Nintendo Black Crisis, and many more. From what we've been given, there isn't a whole lot more that can be expounded upon plot-wise. But the thing is, I've always felt weird about Ganondorf as a character as the series continued on. So for this video, I want you to suspend disbelief about whether you agree or disagree with the following concept. We're diving into What If Land. But what if Ganondorf had a change of heart in Breath of the Wild? So hear me out. Ever since the ending of Wind Waker, I've always felt weird about Ganondorf. Obviously, the entire state of the game is a direct result of Ganondorf's corrupt actions. But that final scene has stuck with me forever. Honestly, years ago I thought about making a video about it, but I ended up never doing so. But with Breath of the Wild 2 on the horizon, that thought resurfaced. So let's rewind a bit. When we first encounter Ganondorf on our final fight, he stops us to tell us the following. Quote, "My country lay within a vast desert. When the sun rose into the sky, a burning wind punished my lands, searing the world. And when the moon climbed into the dark of night, a frigid gale pierced our homes. No matter when it came, the wind carried the same thing, death. But the winds that blew across the green fields of Hyrule brought something other than suffering and ruin. I coveted that wind, I suppose." End quote. When I first went through this fight as a child, I honestly didn't think much about Ganondorf's actions or words. My thoughts about him were overruled as soon as he started swinging his swords at me. But his actions tell so much about his character and his state of mind. Although he thrashes Link initially, he tells him that he will not kill him, almost as a way to make him not worry. But even with this in mind, I feel like Ganondorf had already accepted his role in all of this. Not so much as the absolute villain, but more so his role as the one who will lose. That's why his dialogue seems so contrasting at the start, when he talks about his country. He's reflecting on how everything is pretty much repeating itself. I feel this is also why he doesn't even respond or move at all when the king touches the Triforce first. He could have acted, but he just stands there with his hand outstretched as the king talks. It's almost like he's thinking, why bother? I know how this will turn out. So he erupts into a state of laughter, and then our fight begins. But even though Ganondorf boasts about how they won't have a future as he draws his swords, which implies he's going to kill them, he holds back. When he has the perfect opportunity to cut Zelda down in the fight, he chooses not to. Instead of killing her, he takes the time to put away his sword mid-combat to smack her aside. But why? Why hold back in this fight when you've condemned those around you already? If he's looking to break the bonds that bind them all together, surely killing one of these pillars would have some sort of effect. But no, he takes the sword to the head and smirks, remarking about how the wind is blowing, which draws parallel to his remark about the deadly winds of his country, but also the prosperity of the winds of Hyrule. And with his final breath, history repeats itself, as the reincarnated hero of time thwarts Ganondorf's goal. But why is that important? It's important because in this moment, Ganondorf feels like he can't escape his fate, and that his destiny will simply be history repeating itself. Understanding that changes the final fight in that game so much, as during all this time, while Ganondorf was still working towards his goal, it's almost as if he was becoming more understanding. To take a moment and reflect before fighting Link, to be more than just a never-ending curse, spawned from the hatred of demise. Could Ganondorf want to escape his destiny? I mean, if you think about it, he was technically born as a normal individual, but he was marked to carry the weight of Demise's eternal hatred. Mind you, this only becomes apparent in this branch of the timeline, since Ganondorf has met his defeat already and also had the opportunity to carry out his first plan. Being sealed within the evil realm obviously gave him a lot of time to think and to reflect. Which brings us back to Breath of the Wild 2. Now, seeing the source of where all this chaos is stemming from, we have what one can assume to be Ganondorf perpetually frozen in anguish. His body is merely a portal for hatred to flow from. But we don't know if Ganondorf has been down here for 10,000 years or only 100. Given that the Great Calamity ended in failure 100 years ago, it points to the former. Ganondorf has been locked in this tormented state for 10,000 years. Now, during this time, Ganondorf could have been flowing with anger endlessly. Or he could have been thinking. And this is why I want you to suspend disbelief at the beginning of the video. What I'm about to say probably won't be true, but if it were, I think it would be a really amazing turn of events for the series. What if Ganondorf, as a vessel, had a turn of heart? Yet he's still bound to the corruption forever placed on him by demise. The seal finally shatters, and Ganondorf's full power flees from his body and takes to the world, leaving a mummified being behind, but without the full corruption of demise. One of the things I think a lot of us are looking forward to in Breath of the Wild 2 is the possibility of being able to control more characters. Given the love of the Breath of the Wild modding community, it's obvious a lot of players would love to give Zelda a spin in an open world game. But what if she wasn't the only one? What if Ganondorf, whether in mummy mode or in some reformed state, somehow had to partner up with Link or Zelda? On a side note, it's not like the Triforce of Power is evil. It's always just inherently been undored on someone that was. And we don't know if this Ganondorf actually has it. But imagine a game where you had the ability to align all the aspects of the Triforce together. Maybe not in a wish-granting way, but with the ability to control the 3 repeating characters who we've known to have held it at some point. That certainly shake out the world of Zelda quite a bit. Each character could draw from their inherent abilities. The one thing we don't know 100% for sure is which Ganondorf we are dealing with though. Given the state of technology and how the world has acknowledged that the Calamity is a repeating evil, this definitely takes place in the far future. It's assumed that Ganondorf taking a sword through his head in Wind Waker killed him, but then again, it's possible that it was once again only some sort of seal. But if this Ganondorf had a moment of reflecting, who's to say others couldn't? After Ganondorf perishes in Twilight Princess, which is in a separate timeline, he is reincarnated in Forest Swords Adventures. Quote, "Once every 100 years, a special child is born to my people. That child is destined to be the mighty guardian of the Gerudo and the desert. But this child, its heart grew twisted with every passing year. The child became a man who hungered for power at any price." End quote. This Ganondorf wasn't always corrupt, but they became more so as time went on. They were also human, but then became the beast that we fight at the end of the game. If the Ganondorf we encounter in Breath of the Wild 2 is either of these 2 Ganondorfs, or really any Ganondorfs whose master plan came to fruition, was thwarted, resulting in them being sealed, and then given the opportunity to try again, it's possible they could be in the same mindset as Wind Waker's Ganondorf, especially if that process is over 10,000 years long. Having Ganondorf break away from his chains of fate and actually betray our expectations would be a really neat twist on things. In the Mario franchise, we've had Bowser in similar roles before, so why not Ganondorf? I will say this is probably highly unlikely, and at best, we'd hopefully finally be able to play as Zelda, but part of me wishes this second installment brings about a trio, and not just a duo. Whether a mummified warrior or a restored king, I'd love to see a twist like this. But now that I've shared all that, what are your thoughts and predictions for Ganondorf's role? Have your own personal theories or hopes for the new game? Let me know in the comments below. And with that, thanks for tuning in for this Doria Historia. Perhaps one of these Zelda videos will tickle your fancy. Anyways, thanks for watching guys and gals, and until my next video, cheers.